Something extraordinary is passing through our solar system. Scientists are scrambling to gather more data, while spiritual channels are asking the questions, is this aliens? Can we make contact? So here are your 3i Atlas updates where we'll answer the questions, are we making contact with an interstellar visitor? And what does that mean for humanity going forward? In this video, we'll dive into the latest science, as well as information that I've gathered through remote sensing, remote viewing, and channeling. To start out, I want to draw your attention to the thumbnail that I chose for this video, because it's the same thumbnail that I used for my first 3i Atlas updates video that aired on August the 21st. I filmed it, I think, on the 19th. Notice two things about that. One, the comment that I chose is green, and the words that I chose is that they're here, they're being plural. Now, it's only within a week and a half, 2 weeks at the most, during the month of September, that it was discovered that the comet's coma actually is green. But Spirit urged me to use that image, that green comet image, for that thumbnail on that video. And also, recently it's discovered that there's 7 comets, the interstellar object, and 6 regular comets to circle around the solar system. Some of them are undiscovered. So at the time, there was only one object known. So point being is that Spirit has given me the accurate information. So I'm going to start out with the latest science and how it will affect us. Then I'll share what I'd gone through remote sensing, remote viewing, if you want to call it that. Basically, in my mind, I travel in my ascension light vehicle and I send my consciousness to the object. That's how I do it. So we could call it remote sensing, but in any event. But this is going to include something extraordinary that I had just discovered today that's new for you, unless some other channel discovered the same thing, which is highly likely. In fact, I'm sure others have, because information is not exclusive to one channel. It's there for everybody. But you probably never heard this, and this is going to make a lot of sense to you. So let me dive on in. I did a lot of research, 6 or 7 different people, including Stefan Burns, including a couple of other sites. So I've got a lot written in my notes, is what I'm trying to say, in terms of the specifics with the timing and all that element, because I can't keep that in my head. So 3i Atlas will be closest to Mars on October 3rd, right around the corner. I think it's about 18 million miles or so, so it's a pretty close approach to Mars, but not super close. October 21st, it's going to be in conjunction in back of the sun from our vantage point in what's called the superior conjunction, while the moon is new. So the moon will actually be in conjunction with the Earth, which would be in front of the sun, the object behind the sun. That's important. And also the swan, which is swan, I don't remember all the letters, is the name for one of the new prominent comets that was discovered. It's going to be at its closest approach to the Earth on the 20th. So right at that same time. All that's important because it's creating a circuit, of an electromagnetic circuit, an incredible planetary geometry where the moon, the sun, and the comet behind it is energizing that natural conjunction, which naturally forms a gravitational vector that increases solar activity and increases the energy on Earth. So on October the 29th, there'll be, that's when it's at its closest approach, the perihelion to the sun. That would be 3i Atlas. That'll be at its closest approach, about 170 million miles from the Earth on December 19th. That's the closest approach to the Earth. And March 16th, it'll be about 33 million miles from Jupiter. And it'll continue along its merry way, basically. So 3i Atlas is increasing its brightness way faster than what the experts thought that it would, much faster than expected. It's moving very, very fast. At last check, I think it was moving at 61 kilometers per second. Due to the slingshot effect from the sun, it's expected to accelerate to 68 kilometers per second. So far, it's following very closely to the projected path. It's glowing green. Usually that's from diametric carbon, or C2, but there could be other reasons that the coma, the large coma around it, is glowing green. Processes we may not know about. And also, green is the heart chakra, as a friend and colleague Lily Nova pointed out. And I believe that she's right. And you can check out her channel, Lily Nova Starseed. She has some great stuff on extraterrestrials and what's going on. But also I picked up on the presence of nickel, but not iron when I first remote viewed it. So that's the same. And they discovered nickel, but not iron, which hasn't happened in this corner of our galaxy. And a lot of there's a big dusty gas coma with carbon dioxide and a few other elements that's about half the diameter of the sun and growing, which has a lot of electromagnetic potential. Plasma is electrical energy. It's streams of protons and electrons. The fourth state of matter. So it's not a liquid, solid, or gas. It's basically disjointed. It's not elemental anymore. It's just the electrons, protons, subatomic particles. So the coma's plasma dust. All right, I said that. And this could affect our solar and inner solar systems electrical circuitry. It's a low density coma, but it's so large and there's so much electrical potential that it's affecting the electrical circuitry between the planets, and that affects things like solar flares, solar activity, which affects the Earth and the inner solar system. It has energy to the sun, the Earth, more and creates more flares. I'd be super shocked if we didn't get some major X-class flares as this comet or interstellar object moves closer, or whatever it is. We'll get more. 3i Atlas is exhibiting unusual behavior, leading to speculations of whether this is maybe an extraterrestrial craft, aliens, or a probe, or even a life form, as it were. Now, personally, I believe that it is an unusual interstellar object, but it's more than that because it has a purpose. I'll put it that way, and I'll explain a little bit more of what that is. So I don't believe it's extraterrestrial in the classic sense, but until we know what it is for sure, all possibilities are on the table. So we don't know, but some of the reasons that these beliefs are out there is, on one hand, it's outgassing towards the sun instead of away from the sun. Well, it's outgassing a little bit away from the sun too now. And that's unusual. There's scientific processes that could explain that. It also appears to be getting brighter, faster, and when I remote viewed into it, it felt very powerful, like it had some kind of an inner power source. So there could be chemical reactions that's illuminating it from within. There could be fission, fusion, or some kind of chemical reactions going on. And the green color is very interesting also. So what else? And another thing is that 3i Atlas will be hidden from view when it's right behind the sun, when it's closest to the sun, and to Mars and such, and Venus. It gets pretty close to Venus also. So that fuels speculation. Also, the unusual orbit, it comes through the elliptical, only 5 degrees along the elliptical, so it stays in the inner solar system much longer. That would theoretically give more time to study the inner solar system, study the sun and the Earth. And there's other things. Also, the trajectory. Yeah, the trajectory lets us know it's interstellar, and it's coming from Sagittarius. 14 degrees Sagittarius is galactic center, so it makes it very likely that this is from the inner Milky Way, the inner galaxy, basically. And it's got tons of information. Laws are different there. Things behave differently there. And we're, at the very least, we're going to get a lot of information on how the universe was constructed. But again, scientists are scrambling because there's very limited time to study this. And a lot of it is going to be behind the sun, where it's very hard to study. And then after several months, it's going to be gone, never to be seen from again. But anyway, and other factors, the close flybys of 4 major planets in the sun, and the fact that it's hidden from you, that we can't see what we were doing, fuels a lot of that speculation, honestly. Now, the other interesting thing is there are also 6 other comets, some of them just newly discovered, that are going to be in the sky, that are in the sky at the same time. And that doesn't happen. That's never happened in modern history. There's been 7 active comets affecting the inner solar system. And all this affects the sun. Again, more X-class flares and such. And that leads to more energy on the Earth. more earthquakes, more volcanoes, stronger storms, as both more energy and more electromagnetic stress gets placed on the planet through the movement of 3I Atlas and the planetary geometry that it's going to be kicking off. Because again, as it forms its superior conjunction, the sun and the moon are going to be, it's a new moon, so the sun, moon, and 3I Atlas behind the sun all going to be in a line. That's a strong gravitational vector that's going to affect the Earth also. Now let's see what else. So the effects increasing, the effects will increase daily as it gets closer, especially from close to the superior conjunction on October 21st through its closest approach to the sun on the 29th into November. And it's going to have a very profound effect on the electrical circuitry, with that huge plasma field about half the diameter of the sun. Only, what is it? I think 1.2 or 1.4 astronomical units, not as close as Oumuamua that was inside the orbit of Mercury and fired off the strongest X-class flares in that solar cycle 2 to 3 years after the maximum. This is farther away, but it's larger, so we'll see how that all plays out, basically. And so here's some here's some spiritual information that I got through remote viewing, through sensing, or remote sensing is what I'm calling it now. And as well as some of the science that we received as well. Order break. So, first thing is I felt extreme love, overwhelming love from it. I've heard other psychics and remote viewers say the same thing. Other channels are reporting that. It continues interacting with the solar system as it interacts with the conscious fields, brings new information about ourselves, our spiritual origins, the origins of the solar system. So it's an emissary of light of sort is what I was getting. And though it may catalyze strife and chaos, initially may increase it, ultimately it's bringing higher consciousness, and it's accelerating the process of spiritual growth. It's helping to break down the old paradigms that's led to so much suffering and so many problems for many, many hundreds of years now. So it's bringing in higher love. Now, 7 major comets, including AI Atlas, interstellar object or whatever. 7 is a spiritual number. It's also the number of illusions and delusions. So I think they are working in tandem to help to dispel the illusion, to help us to come into higher consciousness. So they show me all 7 comets are connected. Oh, wait, I'm skipping a page. Hold on. So also, one of the comets called Swan, I don't remember all the letters, is also going to be close to the Earth, closest on the 20th of October. So it's close right when the object and it's in its superior conjunction to the Earth. So it reveals a resonance with interstellar space and quantum space. In other words, what happens in interstellar space is the same as what happens in the atoms and the molecules of the body. So it's the same structures, only it's a different timeline and a different distance and a different density, but it's the same. So it really reveals how everything is connected in the universe, and that there is a unifying force, and everything follows the same process, the same patterns. They're just scaled differently, basically. So the physical object born from a spark or wave of higher consciousness is changing our solar system, our cellular structures, our mental and emotional bodies, and the relationship between different levels of ourselves, and helps open up the connections of different aspects of self and our universe. Though not alive in the traditional sense as we know life, and probably not extraterrestrial, but it is alive on some level with a specific mission. It's like an emissary of light, so to speak. And I'm going to dive a little bit into that and some amazing revelation that I'll share near the end that makes this literally a biblical thing that's happening right now. So specific mission, part of the Pluto and Aquarius energy and the 4 outer planet alignment that we've been in for quite a while. and things of that nature. So they had showed me that all 7 comets, including 3I Atlas, are connected. There's like a layering of sword, emitting and transmitting cosmic frequency, sort of like a harmony that the 7 of them, or resonance that they're creating together, with 3I Atlas being the main player, emitting certain sound and light patterns that are potentially measurable as a form of communication or information sharing. They show me specific harmonics to hold space, so to speak, for the higher consciousness or the higher cosmic frequencies, changing our reality and upgrading our collective fields that are coming in now. This is a new light, a new consciousness, a new era, kind of like a new Earth emissary, as it were. And it has identified, but it has identity, but not as life as we know it. It's highly energetic. This is what I really felt both times that I went in. Seems to transform energy, possible fission or fusion or chemical reactions, creating luminosity and energy within. Exchanging information with us, ripping away a layer of energy, a veil, allowing higher frequencies, affecting our reality to better integrate with our collective consciousness or our collective fields. It's creating a grid or a definition of sort for these higher frequencies to integrate with and upgrade our reality. More likely an emissary from beyond the matrix, or physical reality as we know it, helping to create upgrades to set the energetics for mass awakening. So that would take it to an even higher level than like the star beings, the extraterrestrials, and perhaps they're the guardians of the matrix itself, or forces that are guarding humanity, that are working with extraterrestrial and interdimensional consciousness. So it could be ETs, possibly, but seems to come from a higher order than ETs existed, or a higher reality or dimension, as it were. They are doing some type of repair and upgrade work with the spiritual mechanics of our physical reality to launch us into our next phase of reality beyond the limitation of the 3D matrix. So this is really high-end spiritual ascension that we are in now, and this is sort of a physical counterpart, or what's working on the physical that's supporting our energetic upgrades to a whole new level that we've been building up towards for decades, but really specifically for the last 5, 7, or 8 years or so. So let me get back into my notes. So could this be the heralding of a new Christ? And this was like the last point that I wanted to make. So hang in there for a second. A new Messiah, maybe like a Christmas star. What if the Christmas star 2,000 years ago was an interstellar object, not too unlike 3I Atlas, or that beaming some level of consciousness, and that Jesus or Yeshua is the physical being or portal of that Christ consciousness or that information, the Messiah, the greatest, one of the greatest teachers to walk the earth, right? Was the Christmas star an interstellar object? The new Messiah probably won't be in the form of a man, but for what was revealed, this is the heralding of a new or upgraded Christ consciousness that I believe that's the true message, that's the true significance. I believe that's part of why it's green, the color of the heart chakra. That's why when myself and other remote sensors go in and they feel so much love, they feel so much energy, so much power, and feel like this is really heralding of an amazing upgrade and an amazing change to humanity, heralding in a golden age of enlightenment. Now, this is just the beginning of the change. This is the tipping point. It's still going to take a while for the energies to set, but we have every reason to be hopeful. So I believe this is a very positive energy. I believe it is an emissary of light, that it has consciousness. It's life on some level, but not as we know it, that technically it is an interstellar object, but it has the record of billions of years of cosmology interwoven in it, and it's energetically active, transmitting and receiving energy, exchanging energy with our solar system, with our collective field, with our consciousness, and heralding in a new age. So I'm going to post over here the original video I did over a month ago before anything was known, and you can see, what I got through the remote viewing then, and how that parallels and how that differs from the information that I'm giving you now. And I hope that that's helpful. Please like, comment, share the video, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy this. Let me know in the comments your take on things. I love you.